Good evening and welcome to the March, can you believe it? It's March 12th already, 2019.
Now we do after daylight savings time.
Yeah, that's right.
Keep it all year.
Meeting of the NOAA Trails Advisory Group. We're here in NOAA Town Hall, and the meeting, as is almost always the case, being taped by NOAA Community Media, NCM, and it's being covered by NOAA Record. Thank you both for joining us. Appreciate it. We're always ready, willing, and able, and excited whenever we get feedback, whatever form that takes. We do have our email address up and running. It's trails@norwoodma.gov. So please feel free, and we'd welcome any input, recommendations, heads up, suggestions, etc. So please contact us, and we'd love to have it. I was actually contacted over the weekend by a hopefully future Eagle Scout. He's looking for a project to take advantage of, and he emailed the Trails email address. So more to follow. But tonight we've got, as is always the case, we have a kind of a chock full agenda. Thank you all. But before we talk about the agenda, I'll ask everybody to walk around the room and enter and sign in. Vic, can you?
Vic Babel.
Thank you.
Jerry Miller.
Marguerite Krupp. Fran Rush.
Lee Leach.
And I'm Joe Greeley. We do have a couple of members that are out of town traveling and could not join us tonight, but this is kind of a fluid advisory group. Our main purpose so far is to work with all departments, basically, of town, town government, and try to coordinate efforts, give recommendations, and work with, create relationships basically with other entities. The 3 E's of our mission statement would be to explore new relationships, encourage the community to utilize the trails, and educate the public on current and hopefully future trails and open space opportunities here in town. So without further ado, Craig Austin has just joined us. Thank you. We'll turn it over to Lee, who's got copies of prior meeting minutes.
I do. Well, I have a copy. You have some copies here. If anybody wants them, pass them around. This is the minutes. They should have been also on your email notice, so hopefully you've had a chance to read them over. Any comments or additions, or none from Joe?
None from Joe.
There's a little bit on the back. Or did you get that too?
Front and back double-sided.
Great.
Trying to save a tree.
Yeah, I try to put them all on one page.
Yeah, I know. That was a mistake.
You want to read the full scale?
That's all right. No, I'll start.
I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes of February 26, 2019.
So moved.
So moved. Thanks, Marguerite. Second?
Second.
Jerry Miller, thank you.
Thank you.
Further comment? Good.
Good.
All those in favor of accepting our minutes, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Unanimous.
Great.
Thank you. That is the copy of the minutes from February 26th. Those were the only outstanding minutes, so we are now at this moment in time up to date with our minutes. Thank you, Lee. All of our minutes and agendas are posted on the town website. We are in the process of finding a permanent home on the website, which will hopefully result in us having our own page and being able to post things like minutes, agendas, maps, trail reports, and various other comments and documents that we can save for the community. So, good. Thank you.
I just wanted to make a general comment that I thought it was a very good meeting with Walpole Trails.
Yes,
They had a lot to bring to us, and they laid out what they have done, and they look like a great source for us.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a two-way street too. But I agree that it was a good meeting. We didn't put a specific date, I don't think, but maybe a May joint effort, sometime in May, that might make sense. Or
The
it'll-
Endine one.
The Endine.
Yeah.
Take a walk in the Endine, walk across the border into some faraway land called Walpole, and then get together, and I think that would be good. So,
Yeah.
thanks, Craig. Thanks for bringing that up.
Excuse me, for the benefit
Right.
of our reporter, I'm sorry I didn't catch your name.
Amanda.
Okay. Then it might be an idea to state specifically what the website is and where on the website you can find the Trails Advisory Committee information.
So far, it's on the, let's see, it's on the Conservation Commission page, but I think that's going to we'll have a cutoff that'll discontinue, and we should have that up and running by the, excuse me, by the end of next week.
The reason I bring it up is that I really appreciated the article in the, no, the
The monthly.
not the monthly, the one you represent, I'm
The
sorry,
Record,
I'm
the
spaced.
Record.
The Record.
Yeah.
It was a very nice article, and the one thing that was missing was the link
Right.
to the website. So
Yeah.
if you would like to include it, that's where to find it.
Sure. Good.
And I think that makes it accessible to more people who might be interested.
Okay. Good idea. We will make sure Amanda has that before she walks out the door. Amanda's a Norwood High grad, so she knows a lot about the trails, and she could certainly
I've never seen you on the
contribute to this
trails.
as well. Good. All right. What else? We have review completed walks. Anybody?
Yeah, I just wanted a short report that Vic Babel and I, we did a snowshoe walk last week. We went out to the Alice playground area, and there was probably 6 to 12 inches of snow, crusty.
Yeah.
Kind of. It was a nice afternoon. It was beautiful for snowshoeing then. I don't know what it is now. It's probably a little
Well, I've been there
dicey now.
a couple more times.
With your shoes? Cool.
Today was shoes only, boots only.
Boots only.
Because I want to cross the stream, but I'm
Okay.
excited about that whole area because there's nice trails through the woods, and then you end up being in back of the yards. And remember where we stopped before? Well, you can, the stream evidently, and I forget which Purgatory Brook?
Purgatory
Well, it
Brook.
goes underground, and then it comes out right behind those houses, but there is room between the back of the houses to cross the Purgatory Brook without going through the water.
Oh, okay.
And a couple days
Before
ago,
it emerges out of the.
yeah,
Yeah.
and 2 days ago, I walked across the water with my snowshoes on, and it was no problem because it was very
Low.
Today it was it was kind of roaring there.
Because
So
of the melt, yeah.
I got across, and then there's a whole open field there beside Box Place and Honda Place. And I'm not sure whether it was frozen because there's still, 6
Lot.
inches to a foot of snow there. And I'm not sure it was all frozen underneath and water underneath the ice or, but I was able to go across the field. And then there's like an island of trees almost. There's a little high area
A
there.
higher area there.
Yes,
yeah.
and it's all trees. It looked quite nice, and then I saw signs of civilization there, like a shopping cart. Say, how did they ever get that in there? And then I went across all the way to the open area, and then I was on the other side of the stream, and then I went into the woods on the highway side. And if we had one crossing down there, by the cattails where we were, if
Right.
we had one opening there, that's all we would do, and it would be a great path. And there's other trails off that too, so I was very excited to see how many trails there are there now.
Great.
Yeah, I think that area lends itself to, particularly in the winter, because,
Yeah.
it's easier to access it across the frozen. A lot of wetlands in there, it's mostly wetlands in there.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how bad it is, but I suggest that once the snow is gone, once the snow is gone, we should walk that again. Walk most of the trails, especially the ones that aren't trails, because once the briars come out and all that,
Right.
they're impassable. At least we get a view of how it looks without any vegetation at all
Right.
out
Is-
there.
Is that area between the Ellis Fields and Bach,
The backside of Bach, yeah.
is that's not town-owned though?
I'm not
It is town.
Is it? That
Conservation
whole-
land?
That area that's
Not-
cleared out was the area when they built the,
It's a sewer easement on this
Yeah, but-
side of the thing.
right, but on the other
But-
side, when they built the power station over there, that was the staging area for the construction company. The area that's cleared out, and that is the site that we think would be a great site for a dog park.
Oh.
Right.
Well, you may be thinking of a different one,
No, that's where they were talking about it.
because that's like acres and acres cleared, clear.
Yeah, well.
There was another place we could see where they cleared out, and that was probably the staging
Yeah.
area, but this goes all the way to Box.
Oh, that's
all
no town,
wetland.
That's private.
that's
Yeah.
Bachland, I think.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
But it's,
See, I didn't
but
get
it's
arrested.
wetlands. It's undevelopable.
Yes,
Or either that
Because there's so much wetlands there.
or Rojo's.
Yeah, I think Rogers is.
Rojo's all across the street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do have to be
Yeah.
cognizant of where to draw the line.
I know, and I was saying, is someone gonna call 911 because I've been here 3 days in a row?
There's a
Who
word-
is this guy?
I
The
took
dogs
you
are
on to that
barking?
one, huh?
There's a word for that, but hopefully it doesn't make the press. Anybody else take a walk?
No?
Another one
Hennessy, but,
I saw
that's
that.
good.
yeah.
Another one that I saw that you can't park there now, but we want to connect to other towns, and where the cemetery is on Pleasant Street, right on the Walpole line.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's behind there? There's all woods behind there, behind the
Yes.
asphalt plant on as you're to the left, just before you get to the Walpole line. So if we could do something from Norwood to, and that's
Right.
what is that Germany Brook there?
No.
Napontet River.
No, it's not Trap Hole. It's Trap Hole.
Trap Hole,
Trap
yes.
Hole.
And then there's another one,
That point.
Pickerel.
Pickerel, there's Pickerel and Trapple.
Yeah.
But there's a
up there.
lot of woods there, and I'm
Yeah.
saying,
So that-
what, I don't know what's in there. I've never been in there, so,
So
once
the
the snow melts, I'll try to get in there.
The scoop on that, and I can't remember if the town accepted it in last year or if that's coming up in May.
I think they did
But
accept it.
but
yeah.
it's like a 8 to 10 acre area,
Right.
Yeah.
of which only 2 is on Pleasant Street, the cemetery. So the rest of it could be conservation land or open space or whatever. So that will be, if it's not already town owned, it will be town owned.
Yeah, so it's another thing to look
Yeah.
into,
Yep, and we
that area of the town.
definitely have not inventoried that at all. So.
No.
Right.
Yep. Great. I did go likewise snowshoeing myself, but I went off University Ave and strapped the snowshoes on and played a little bit in the snow. It's fun. We didn't get much of a chance to do it so far this winter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Did you stay in the golf course, or did you get to go
only a
into
little
some
in
of
the
the
golf
town
course,
land?
but I zipped in through the conservation area, and I did drive to Granger. I asked permission if I could park in their parking lot, and I got about 75 to 100 yards into that area behind Granger, which is all town owned. But then I heard a lot of crackling under my feet. And,
Oh.
it was definitely wetlands, and I had no idea how deep it was, so I
Turned around.
Didn't want to find out.
quickly backed up. Right.
Does it rise from there, or?
It's definitely all flat. And it runs.
There's humps like with this.
There's
Yeah.
definitely humps. So there were mounds of walkable, and likewise it was pretty frozen, but not totally frozen for large people like myself with snowshoes. So, but then I got back in my car and I drove to the proverbial hot dog stand cutout on University Ave, and I went in through the conservation
Yeah.
land. So it's beautiful.
Yeah,
nice
it's
of them.
beautiful there.
Great. We did, just jumping down a little bit, we do still have on our future group trail walks the either March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, or the week, like next weekend. So sometime in the next 2 weeks, if we can take a walk, and we'll go over to between the landfill and that whole Germany Brook area.
Yes.
And then likewise cross the border into Westwood. So that would,
Bring your boots.
I think
That-
it's, I would say,
it's
You gotta
definitely
cross
wet.
that river, so.
it's
I
gonna
think
be mushy.
Yeah, it's
I'm
definitely
pretty sure.
wet. It's definitely,
How wide is the river?
it's about 30 to 40 feet in some areas.
Yeah, but some parts it's not that wide, but if it's not that wide, guess what, Jerry? It's that deep.
Yeah.
You got that. So is it March 17th or the 23rd or 24th, or have we?
I don't know, everybody, anybody available, or is everybody eating green potatoes and
So,
Yeah,
no.
Corned
I can
beef
do
that
March
day.
17th. I'm Lithuanian.
I can
so-
do, yeah.
March 17th?
I can't do it.
That's on
This
what,
weekend, right?
Sunday?
Sunday.
Next Sunday.
Yeah. I'll be in Moose Hill
Oh.
on Sunday myself.
Okay.
It's maple sugaring season,
Oh, yeah. that's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
so I get to play a part, so
Hmm.
unfortunately I'll be out all that day.
That's this Sunday, right?
This
Yeah.
Sunday,
I'll be down the Cape visiting my mother-in-law.
okay. So
And
why
the
don't
same
we,
goes for next Sunday too, unfortunately.
23rd, 24th, all right.
Yeah.
So why don't we tentatively say, why don't we tentatively say Sunday? This Sunday, the 17th?
Anytime.
What time, just in case?
I don't know, just want to do early, 9, 10, 9,
10?
10,
10.
Yeah.
10 o'clock,
Yeah.
10 to 12. We'll meet at the, we will, let's see, where can we park? Let's
School.
park at the Willett,
Yeah.
Willett School. And we'll go for a walk in the woods. 10 o'clock on March 17th.
17th.
Wear your green.
Yeah.
Not sure if we'll find any four-leaf clovers out there or not.
Maybe some deer and coyotes.
Yeah, and then we'll get back, we'll fill in the blanks on the ending into Walpole. That's on the future trail walk calendar as well. We do have a couple of active subcommittees, trail mapping. Is that,
Well, maybe not too active,
I'd
but.
say not active yet.
okay, good.
Yep.
We do have that on the agenda for
Yep.
2 weeks from now.
Right, right, they were gonna report
Yep.
next.
Okay.
And then we do likewise have an Earth Day subcommittee
Oh,
active
Yeah, we had our meeting.
in the works.
Yeah,
So,
we had only 2 of us there.
okay,
but John sent us a synopsis of what he's done already.
Yes.
And so he's actually already apparently picked out 2 sites that we're gonna look at, clean. One is gonna be the Hennessy Trails, the other one's gonna be the Endine Trails. He has already accomplished the following. He's got trash bags and gloves and soccer cones for the Sharpies they find.
Hmm.
They're gonna do a few days prior to that, he wants to go out and put the soccer cones, little soccer cones on.
Yeah.
So, he just wanted to know if we could have a designated site coordinator on each site, so there's only the 2 of us, so each one of us
I
has.
have Hennessy, he has Indeed.
Okay.
So we all have a site. That was pretty easy. They're gonna have 2.
We have coffee at your place.
Could.
They have 2 different colored bags. One is for trash, and another for clean recyclables. Bags will be left at a convenient location for the DPW to pick up on that Monday. We'll be sending an online link onto the online sign website, which will be able to circulate to the committee members and to the public. There will be once the function, I guess it's gonna start at 9:30 to 11. At 11:30, there will gonna be a community picnic at the town common here. And then he just has a list of things that we need to provide somehow, where we get folding tables and things like that. But it's, having done it in the past, I mean, it would really, subject to the number of people who show up, or how aggressive you want to get. When we had 300 people showing up, we not only hit the trails, but we hit the ballparks, we hit everything, in the pool area, so everything benefited, so.
Okay.
So,
And what's the date on it, date and time?
it is
April 28th.
April 28th, yeah.
28th.
Yep.
Is it starting at 10-ish?
No, 9:30.
9:30 on the sites.
Yeah, on site,
And
yeah.
you would just go directly to those sites that you
Right,
want to
Hennessy or
participate
Indian, yeah,
in.
yeah.
And you know, Sunday, when we meet, we all should bring a trash bag.
What a concept.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, for our walks.
If we can pull it from the frost.
Yeah.
All right, anything else, Jerry?
No, it's,
So you need help setting up the common though before 11 o'clock?
Yeah,
They have to be
he-
set
he-
up before then, don't
yeah,
they?
he has, he's looking for somebody to go up and set up, because if we have site supervisors on either end.
Right, you can't be there, so.
So we need somebody to help set up the tables and whatever, I don't, he's got it all lined up with the food and whatever they have going on.
So the question is, do we need to modify our sign that you have?
Yep,
In the meantime, can we
I could take care of that. and
take care of that?
Maybe we could borrow somebody's tent,
Right.
booth.
Rec department has tents, tables, the whole works.
Okay.
Who's the contact if people want to sign up?
For the,
It's
I
just
don't
the
think-
show up, I think, for the picking
yeah, I
stuff
don't,
up,
I don't know if it's,
as
is
far
John
as,
taking the lead on this, or we're gonna be taking it ourselves, I don't know. He just
Because
gave us.
Progress Norwood is kind of sponsoring
Right,
it,
this is-
So are you talking about the staffing the table?
staffing the table is getting us set up and all that stuff.
Yeah, I can be the
Okay.
contact for that. You would be interested?
Maybe.
Depends how
I
it
have
goes
to-
Sunday.
I have to figure out what's happening on the 28th first.
Okay.
Yeah.
I say that because I'm also involved with the Friends of the Harbor Islands, and we have some training meetings
Okay.
going on about this time.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Otherwise, we had a very productive meeting.
We did.
We got out on time.
All right. So we'll make sure if tonight's, we're getting out on time as well.
Did John say it goes to 1 on the common? Or did he have an ending?
1:30.
1:30,
Yeah.
okay. So I thought it was
Hopefully
about
they-
that.
11:30 to 1:30, it's 2 hours there, yeah.
Okay, 11:30 to 1:30 for,
And 9:30 at either, as far as we're concerned, at either the
The sites, yeah.
Hennessy or Endine.
But as Vic said, they are the sort of the driving force behind Progress Norwood.
Yeah.
We're just one faction of it, which is a good faction, but.
well, Mike Bergeron and I staffed that table last year, so I sort of have an idea of what to expect from last year's.
Yeah. Well, they had a perfect day last year,
Yeah,
so.
that's true.
Yeah.
Some days that's not.
Maybe, given your excellent experience, years of experience at the booth,
1 year.
Well, so now going on year 2, that's years.
maybe 2 weeks from now, when we talk about just pulling it all together, we can also talk about what kind of materials we want to have at the booth,
Okay.
as far as handouts and brochures
Yeah.
and maps and.
Yeah, that's one thing I did not finish up with, is they're looking to see what we can have there besides, maps, stickers, anything, sign-up sheets, things like that, that give you the ability to showcase what we're trying to provide.
Okay, great. Great, thank you. So, outreach opportunities other and what's next. So we did talk about putting together and distributing a March newsletter before the end of the month. So we're gonna meet again on March 26th at 7 PM here. So, hopefully in that newsletter, which we hopefully can get out before the end of March, will include an Earth Day, kind of an update on Earth Day. We might pick a, trail of the month kind of thing. It would be good if we could get a monthly newsletter, at least out to the roughly 250 to 275 of our contacts. And so trail of the month,
No, if you want
Birthday.
that, Joe, that's a copy of the email from John,
okay,
and all the
great.
information.
Agenda there, is that 2?
Um,
Okay.
But sometime over the next 2 weeks or so, if people can be brainstorming about what else we could put in a newsletter. We want to put together our own calendar. One of the things we had on our calendar for 2 weeks from tonight is to put together a spring calendar. We've already got a number of items on the calendar, but we would definitely want to make people aware of what's coming up and opportunities. Though certainly we could put a quick summary in there about the Walpole Trails Committee and a joint walk. So those kind of things would put in a newsletter.
And also on that, like Sunday, we're meeting at 10 a.m. If anybody out there other than this committee wants to join us, would that be fine?
Absolutely.
So join us next Sunday at 10 a.m. Willie Green.
That's right, at the Willett School. Good, there is, you also mentioned bringing a trash bag, so we could bring a trash
Yes.
bag that day. It will definitely be wet, so anyone that comes, you're more than welcome, but dress accordingly.
Boots.
Boots,
Hopefully no snowshoes by then.
yeah, hopefully not. Swim fins and flip-flops are optional, but we definitely will be wet.
And try not to wear, because we will be bushwhacking a little bit. There are briars out there, and so try not to wear a jacket that will catch the briars and rip them.
Yeah.
This is your invitation to wear old clothes
Yes.
or bushwhacking clothes, whichever you
Yeah.
have. So. One thing you also mentioned, bringing a trash bag. Katie Neal Rizzo sent me an email this morning. There is such an animal out there as hashtag trash tag. So hashtag, in one word, TRASHTAG. So there's a number of people that are they're picking either open space or a trail, and they're taking a before picture, and then they're going out to clean up the trail, and they're taking an after picture. And that after picture can either be them in front of a mound of trash, or, you know, a dirty trail compared to the post cleanup trail.
Okay.
So that's kind of a current challenge on, I saw it on Facebook, but I think it's also on either Twitter or Twitter with a hash. Thank you. Got to get some more 20-year-olds on the table here.
So it's
Uh,
hashtag.
Hashtag trash tag. So
Hashtag.
so pound sign hashtag and then trash tag. So these are the things that, you know, the more we get out there, the more we can participate and
Yeah.
broadcast those things. And from what I saw, it was at least nationwide, if not international, that various people were posting before and after pictures. So it's kind of cool.
Today, no, tomorrow, the world.
That's right. One step at a time.
Must be something for Earth Day too, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely. Great. What else do we have? March newsletter. Vic, you were invited to the speak or present.
And I haven't heard from her. It's tentatively April 24th.
It's
And what
usually
is
the
that
4th.
for the viewing audience? What is it?
It's a meeting of the Historical Society at the Day House, and they want us to do a presentation, so they're trying to schedule us in at that time. I'll follow up now that it's already March.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's usually the 4th Wednesday in April.
Yeah.
And it's the annual meeting, so it tends to run long.
Oh, good. I
Yeah,
won't
keep it
be
short.
there.
And what would you be presenting on?
You presented at that.
Well,
haven't
I'll
you?
be in Richmond, Virginia on April 24th.
Oh, sure.
That's why I
you
said yes.
Nice.
Oh.
But what is it
We're
that
doing
someone
that
else?
for
I'll keep it
And that I
short.
don't know yet. She was just saying that, you know, because of the interest in the Trails Committee, that I think they're more interested in how we could be part of their historical walks.
Yeah.
I did one last year with Linda Rao, and it was very interesting.
Yeah,
You know, there's
yeah.
one
I was on that
architect that did a lot of the buildings, including the post office and everything, and all the stuff that we've torn down over the years. So, I mean, I was very happy to take that walk. So
Great.
maybe we can do more of those and help them plot it or whatever they
Yeah, we
want
can
us
do
to do.
it.
But,
Like-
Sure.
so I
There's a-
think that's
so-
the connection.
Okay.
There's a movement afoot in the Historical Society to develop,
No pun intended.
you got it, to develop the trails that have historical significance.
Yes.
And maybe further down the line, to do little videos of people doing the presentations like Linda did.
Yes, that was very good.
And then what you can do is you can post little signs with, you know, how they walk, you have that Norwood Walks. Post a little sign with a QR code. And when people scan the QR code, they'll get an excerpt of the presentation that relates to that particular
Nice.
area.
Wow.
That's further down the line.
Yeah.
They're not there yet, but it's something that's definitely on the radar.
Nice.
That's great.
So they want us to get
Always-
involved somehow.
Make sure
you
I'm
know.
on that list.
Hmm?
Make sure I'm on
A lot
that
going
list.
on in this small community.
Yeah.
Great, that's great. I did mention annual town meeting. As a committee and an advisory group, we do want to introduce ourselves formally in front of town meeting briefly and maybe put up the townwide map and probably more so just have materials available as opposed to any big presentation. So more to follow on that. And then just any other outreach opportunities that anyone hears of or knows of or wants to stir up, feel free. These are all things that we put it on the calendar, like a community walk or a presentation, the Vic tour, the Vic's Victory Tour.
Yeah.
Earth Day. But these are things that we want to participate, not spread ourselves too thin, but we want to get the word out, we want to communicate, we want to get some momentum, primarily just, educate.
Yeah.
Educate and encourage.
Yeah, and that was good that they gave us a full front page article in the monthly newsletter,
Yeah.
a newspaper
That
was
in
great.
Norwood.
Yeah.
Except I forgot John somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah.
He let me know.
He was subtle.
I was embarrassed at that, but anyway.
Okay.
But it was
No,
good
it's great.
publicity,
Yeah.
so, and I enjoyed driving her around for a couple of hours.
And who was it?
And that was Donna Lane.
Okay.
Totally, yeah.
And I know her from way back in the Norwood Eden Garden Club. She's a master gardener, and also from the community garden that I'm involved in. So I called her up after we had our last meeting, and I said, when we were at the library, and I said, why don't you come tonight? We're going to do a meeting at the library. And she says, why are you telling me right now? I can't. I don't have time. And then she called me up the next day. I called the editor, and she was so excited about doing something on the Trails Committee. So I said, I'll tell you what, I'll drive you around for a couple hours. So I took her to all the spots. She was floored. She had no idea that there are any trails in Norwood. And so she wrote up, I think, a pretty good article on it.
Yeah, it was.
So
It was nice.
Yeah.
it's good. Always good to have good publicity.
Yeah, it's great. Great. Under announcements, reminders, we already touched base on most of these. Earth Day, April 28th, 2019. We are hoping sometime in May, but not to conflict with our other May events. Trying to schedule a community work party. We're still in contact with the Cleveland School. They do want to go out on the Ellis, on the new Nichols Street path leading to the Ellis Pond. So that's still on the radar screen. It's going to be a busy May, I think. And then I just mentioned town meeting. Just getting back to, or any other items to discuss in the future meeting. So I have been in contact with the Friends of Blue Hills. I have participated in cleanups for a couple of years with them. They have a gentleman, Bob Flagg, who actually lives in Norwood, but he participates and he coordinates a number of the Friends of Blue Hills work. They call them a work party, which is basically they just put out the word they'll be on such and such a trail. Typically they'll meet at Houghton's Pond, and then they'll go from Houghton's to some designated trail and do whatever kind of work that they want to do, depending on how many people show up. So Bob has agreed to come to our next meeting on
good.
March 26th, and he's going to give us a 20-minute, introduction to coordinating work parties. How to coordinate volunteers.
What's his last name again?
Flagg, F-L-A-G-G. He wasn't quite amazed, but he lived in Norwood for 30 years before moving elsewhere, and he was amazed that we had so many trails in our inventory stash. So I think everybody is, but he's more than excited to come back and just introduce us to that whole concept. And that's part of what we want to accomplish is, it's not one of the E's, but we want to get community involvement and just kind of encourage people to give back to the community and go experience a new trail, and maybe in doing so they carry a plastic bag or a shovel or something. We don't want people to do it on their own, preferably. No power equipment, and but we do want to coordinate efforts. So more to follow, but that should be exciting. It not only does it lead to like a one-day work party, but kind of the next thing that they foster is an adopt a trail program, where somebody who lives in Hennessy or Meadow Street or some just randomly, on conservation land or whatever, take a dog for a walk and just make a note of a fallen tree or something, and then circle back and just report that back to the group. So that's one of the other things that we definitely want to foster as well.
And we're talking about intercommunity too. Would it make sense, because you know her, to ask the Westwood Conservation person to join us in the walk Sunday?
Yeah, I will put that word out. I think they
Yeah.
would. They don't have a trails committee. The Karen Catrone, Cattrone, is the Westwood Conservation agent. In their environment, the Conservation Commission has oversight of all the trails, but I will just give her a heads up that we're gonna go take a walk, so. If she can join us, great, but she may be able to forward it on to the Conservation Commission. Good idea.
Good.
That's good. What else?
I'd like to raise one question about a previous item.
Sure.
On the Cleveland School Walk, since we'll be dealing with school children, do they require that the people who participate from this organization be quarried?
We don't.
I'm Cory approved, believe it or not.
That's good to know.
I feel so much better now.
That's a good question. We'll have to follow up on that.
It's
But
one
that
that'll
is a
take a
good
little
question.
time if we have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
And I'm not, so I don't.
just walking the track up to high school, and that's why as Cory, I had to go through that thing for that, because I was in a school.
It's a school.
So that
I
is
know
an
I
excellent
have in the
question.
past.
Yeah.
But you just go upstairs to the HR department and they can help you.
Okay.
So just getting back to that, we were contacted by the principal. Marie Kidd is active in the Cleveland School PTO, and she and I have been talking about specifically using that trail, and she and her family have been out on that Nichols Street Trail several times, and they love it. So she went back to the PTO and said, wouldn't it be great if, and that kind of built some momentum, and we were contacted by the principal and specifically the science department wants to take either the 4th graders or the 5th graders, or maybe both, out on a field day someday during school, so.
That'd be great.
That would be great.
I do a fair bit of that kind of thing when I'm out on the Harbor Islands.
Okay.
So, it's mostly exploratory rather than let's take water samples and find out what's in this, but it's the same kind of thing that could tie in well with their program. But it would help if we knew what the program was that they wanted us to work on.
Right. They did talk about water samples. They talked about flora and fauna. They talked about various other things they don't really have a chance to do because they don't have a working lab, I guess let's call that the lab. But they have been down, the principal and some of the PTO members have scouted it out, and they think they're
Good.
pretty excited about it. So, what else? So aside from that gentleman from the Friends of Blue Hills, I don't have any future invited guests that I can think of, but
What about the Westwood?
yep,
Yeah.
good, yep. We'll ask her to join us on Sunday, or anybody else from the Concom, and
Yeah. Coming to the meeting.
yeah,
Yeah.
good. What else? Anybody have any other future agenda items we want to stick on that?
I just want to comment, I did Father Max too this week, so every day I was doing something. And the pitfalls of retirement. And I saw my first red fox.
Really?
Saw the picture of that.
And we were staring each other down. But I don't know, I mean, that's the first real, other than deer, the first real wild animal I've seen in the walks. And should people be concerned about a red fox?
Only if it's attacking you.
No, he wasn't attacking me.
Otherwise,
Foaming at the
they're,
mouth, you get.
Yeah.
If
Otherwise,
they
you're
start
fine.
approaching you,
yeah.
that's when you need to be worried about it.
Yeah.
I'll bet you could climb a tree
I was
faster than the fox
Well,
could.
I was approaching the fox.
Yeah, yeah.
But he kept on going back.
What did the fox say?
It was a quick red fox, yeah. Quick brown fox.
Jump, yeah.
It's a song.
But that is something that, people out on their own in any of these trails, you run the risk or the opportunity, depending on how you look at it, of encountering. So you just have to keep your wits about you. I've seen coyote out especially at the top of the landfill. That whole area is covered with coyote and deer, and I know you've seen deer several times, haven't you?
Not
Or
while
critters.
walking, critters.
Yeah.
turkeys.
Turkeys, yes.
Turkeys?
Yeah.
Turkeys are very
Footprints,
protected.
When we were on the landfill, we saw the red-tailed hawk perched
Ah.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So, yeah,
yeah.
and there's deer all around.
Yeah, you can tell by the droppings.
Footprints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were here first,
Yep.
right?
Has anybody seen the bald eagle?
No.
It's up at Willard Pond, right?
This is up by New Pond, yeah.
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 Just recently, this
Yeah,
year?
yeah.
There's two of them, I think.
Yeah, so there's a,
Yeah.
there's a pair, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that'll be one of our contests, is to have a 3-month period and bring in,
See how many.
Scavenger
who
hunt
can,
pictures.
scavenger. That's
How
right.
many-
Just
how
don't
many
bring in the
photos?
critter,
Just
just
a
bring in
picture.
a
The
picture
photo?
of you.
Yeah.
Hey, so yeah, you're gonna have a
Well, I
little
got the fox,
big old
so.
crowd.
You did the fox,
Big
yeah.
old pit.
Yeah.
Thing.
I think you might have jumped in too early.
That'd be
We
fun.
haven't officially
Yeah.
started.
Oh,
You
You don't know what I do
We
with
can make you
picture.
an Eagle Scout if you go looking for them.
Yeah, I know.
All right, good. So, let's see, other agenda items?
The only comment I would have, Joe, is that the pamphlet we're gonna be putting out at the end of March, the bulletin.
The
like with
newsletter.
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 Yep.
One.
It doesn't look like it's too bad so far, things we're gonna be doing, but I think we wanna make sure that what we do well. So if we start diluting the product by doing too many things and not,
Right.
and really can't concentrate on them, it might, lose its ability to, well, not impress people, but at least let them know what's going on. But
Sure.
if
Yeah.
3 people show up and, I mean, we have 7 here and 3 here, but if we have 15, it, shows more interest.
Yep, building momentum. Good
Also,
point.
also, if we're going to put together a newsletter, somebody's going to be in charge of it, and I'm not volunteering. That was one sentence.
Yeah. Said quickly.
Ditto.
Okay, duly noted.
I have a commitment through April that is going to take over a lot of stuff, so I can't really say I'll help it.
Okay. Sue did weigh in and mention that she would help us out with a newsletter,
Oh,
so
Good.
good.
not do it, she'll help.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So she's still in the group though, right?
She is
Okay.
from a distance, from afar.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so just keep that in mind if we, like you said, Jerry, we don't want to make it too encompassing because we'll scare people away or whatever,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
if we pick a topic, 3 bullet points and a calendar maybe, that might be a good way to address it.
Speaking of bullet points, the presentation that you did at the library would be a good starting point for a newsletter. You could elaborate each month on one of those points.
Mhm.
And it doesn't have to be immense to start with. It can be, you can tell I've done a number of newsletters over the years. But once you get 2 pages, or the equivalent of 2 pages electronically, people will read that. If it's too big, they won't.
Right.
Yeah.
They won't even read, anything more than 288 characters. Many of them.
Sound bites.
So you've got to keep it small.
Yeah. And a picture like the Fox site took a picture of.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. A deer, if you see a deer.
Sure.
Any picture of a deer anywhere. And then if we get a picture of the bald eagles, that would be nice.
That'd be
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Sue's got some, Ernie's got some.
Yeah.
But what if he's in Walpole? Is that?
Well,
Ooh.
we don't know I think the flight thing goes like that in the air.
It'd be hard to determine.
Yeah. International space.
Okay, all right, great. So, let's see, homework assignments here. So, we've got the Historical Society.
I'm gonna follow up with Linda.
April 24th with Linda.
Rao.
Wow.
Okay, good, yep. Find out more about that. We're going for a romp in the woods on Sunday, St. Patrick's Day, March 17th. We're gonna meet at the Willett School at 10 a.m. Wear old clothes, and it will be wet.
Although the long-range forecast for that day is dry, 4% chance of
Perfect.
precipitation.
Mm.
So the wetness should be like
Excellent.
knee
The wind is
down.
Excellent
Friday.
planning.
Yeah.
Friday, even though it's gonna be close to 60, it's gonna rain, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it'll be wet under.
But at least the snow, it's hard trudging through the snow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Usually when it's wet.
What's
Even
Yeah.
with snowshoes, it can be,
Yeah,
when it's
yeah.
like that, it's,
Well, the boots weren't very good today either.
I'm sure.
I found the snowshoe conditions, I'd
Were
never,
excellent.
I'd never really done much before,
Yeah.
at least
Mhm.
here. When
They
we
were
went out
excellent.
last week, it
Yeah.
was it was
Great,
fun, really
Yeah.
was.
yeah.
Does everybody have snowshoes?
Yep.
Nope.
I used to.
You got the bamboo ones?
I have a
Oh, the rawhide,
Those are
the
really
rawhide.
The tennis racket ones.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on the type of snow.
Close.
If
I got a-
those
Yeah.
are
I got a
great on
12
new
wide
fallen
shoe.
light snow.
Perfect.
It'll fit.
I'll get in touch with the Westwood Conservation Agent. What else do we say? April 28th, Earth Day at Hennessy Field and the Endine.
Mhm.
More news to follow. Hashtag trash tag might give us some thought.
Yeah,
Yep.
the only thought we
Jerry?
did have on the Earth Day, as far as the meeting spot, my recommendation, when we meet right by Hawes Pool, so we have a central area to start off with, and maybe we can probably get access to the bathrooms if needed.
That's a good idea.
Mm.
So, and then we can go from there.
Great.
And Hennessy would be the ball field.
Yeah, at that point, they should have porta potties
Yeah.
lined up there.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Good.
And then we're always looking for volunteers to not only help us out, but staff the booth and, just generally help. Katie Neal Rizzo and John Apria are coordinating this for Progress Norwood, and they went to the Board of Selectmen, I think, 2 weeks ago. So recently they've announced Earth Day and walked through the process with the Board of Selectmen. So, I will ask Marguerite, I'll ask about Cory checks.
Thank you.
Welcome, thank you. We're gonna borrow, just getting back to Earth Day for a minute, we'll see if we can borrow a tent from
Rec department.
Rec Department.
Tent, table, and chairs.
Table and
Yeah,
chairs.
plenty of all.
Can I trust you to, can you find the Rec Department in the Civic Center, Jerry? You think you can?
No.
Jerry's retired.
Tent, table, and chairs, okay, great. Some of which may already have tents and chairs.
I would
I mean,
imagine
tables and
if
chairs.
Travis is, my understanding is involved with John, so I imagine that stuff has
Yeah.
already been taken care of.
Okay, great.
What about signage?
Yep, so I'll modify my homework assignment, I'll modify the banner,
Okay.
try to take that somewhere and see if they can duplicate it.
We got it right here. Norwood Press.
Okay, great. And then at our next meeting, we'll try to come up with a set of maps and
Mm-hmm.
materials to
Materials.
hand out. Great. And,
Well, if it's a 2-hour common kind of thing, I think if we have 3 or 4 people on, well, that'll be enough, so somebody needs to go get lunch or something.
Well, there's
We
be
can do
food
that.
there, as I imagine,
Yeah.
right? That's the whole
Well,
thing.
last year they gave like tickets, you
Oh,
went
yeah,
over
you
to a
went to the
local
pizza
police
place, yeah.
pizza place and got it.
Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're planning for this time.
Yeah.
I thought he said they were gonna, well, okay, yeah.
Oh, we'll get more detail when John gets back.
Right, and we'll expect him next.
yes,
Yeah.
he'll be back at our next meeting
Okay,
on
20,
26.
March 26th at
Yeah.
7 PM in Town Hall, room 24.
I just
Yes,
had
great.
2 more ideas
Sure.
for subjects between now or the next meeting, the meeting after. One is I do contributions to iNaturalist, which is a
Mhm.
website, citizen science vein, where I take pictures, try to identify plants and animals, and once they're posted, other people get to do that. So I've been building.
I've used that too.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I've been building a small
Once.
repository for Norwood.
Okay.
And be, I think, a good resource.
So you just search under your, how would you find your?
I just looked for actually by place, and I was actually thinking
Okay.
of creating a place with the polygon of Norwood, the town. I did one for Endine. So if you search on Endine,
Endine.
you could actually find flora. There's about 20, 25.
So it's,
identified
just to
there.
explain, it's flora
And fauna.
and fauna,
Yep. Plants and animals, mushrooms.
mushrooms as well.
And basically anything living. So you could, if you have the equipment, do amoebas. But most of us are more at the,
Yeah.
Do you ever
nice little
use
chipmunk and
Do you ever use-
deer and fox and
Yeah,
Plant,
you-
Plant Snap, the
Hmm?
app?
which
I think it's Plant Snap,
don't know. that.
where you take a picture of it and it identifies it.
Oh, yeah, there are a couple of those
PlantSnap,
out
okay,
there.
Yeah.
Google Goggle did that for a while.
Google goggles.
Yeah, really, not Google Goggles, not Google Glass, Google Goggle. But it unfortunately, it only worked if somebody else had previously identified it and posted it. So it wasn't comprehensively searching some sort of nature guide. But
Listen to
you said this was
PlantSnap.
or
PlantSnap.
something?
Plants.
Let me double check.
And
So-
is iNaturalist a website, or is it?
Yep.
Okay,
iNaturalist.org.
org, okay.
And anybody can view it, anybody can search on it.
Good.
Certainly, if you're a member, well, if you sign in, you can
With an
do
account,
more,
yeah.
contribute, et
Sure.
cetera. It's very open. But anyway, the second one is I also attended the annual report for NEPRA's water sampling. So I have some material. If you give me 15 minutes, I can try to summarize, what Norwood's, Brooks, how they fare in the system.
Okay,
Good,
great.
Interesting.
that would be great.
That would be good.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, PlantSnap is the world's largest plant community. And I've taken several pictures to it, take a picture,
Yeah.
and then it's amazing how it identifies it.
Is it .com or .org or what?
It is just, search in your app store for PlantSnap.
Okay,
That's an app.
It's an app.
Oh, it's an app.
And
It's
I know,
free, but then if you want it.
Yeah,
more
I go-
yeah, I know in a lot of these, it's best to take like flowering plants. That's
Well, a lot of
But
them
it's
do the
the
leaves.
easiest way to-
This I've
to
I've
identify
identified leaves too, but
Good.
you have to get it all in the picture too,
sure.
pretty much. So,
All right.
but it's not bad.
Kind of more to follow, but we have been approached by the Neponset River Watershed. They just got a grant, I think we were talking about that a couple of weeks ago, from a remediation penalty. There was a company, remember we talked about that last
talking
last
about
month?
Trap Hole Brook.
Trap hole, right,
The 400,000.
right.
Oh,
Yeah.
that one, yeah.
So Neponset River Watershed Association wants to coordinate a cleanup of the trap hole. They're also talking about somebody, I'm not sure who owns this one, but they're also talking about removing one of the dams. So they're
Up the river.
up the river.
Yeah.
So they want to coordinate, they've offered, it's actually trap hole, what they're gonna do off Sumner Street is they're gonna broaden that pool that's just off Sumner Street, like up downstream.
Downstream.
Yes.
Well, that was, they come before the Conservation Commission a while back with that, project
Yeah.
to remove that dam or to open it up there.
Mhm.
They'd already met with, homeowners there, so they were getting some buy-in
Okay,
there too,
great.
so.
Yep.
I haven't heard anything since then,
Yeah.
but.
So they've offered to work with us and with the Trails Group and Conservation Commission and just to try to coordinate that effort. But that, that could help clean up a little bit or better define the Peswick Trail, that end of
Yeah,
that end of things. So that might have a direct impact on that whole trail. So I can forward that to. I'll forward that to the
Yeah.
group.
Have they been doing work down there? Because, there were tire tracks that obviously they must have got real stuck there. Because it was all into the mud there going down to the Noah Gardens.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Easement
So-
maybe, power lines or not?
No, I mean, it looked like someone was down there with a truck or whatever and doing something. So maybe that's, when they were studying doing that job,
Yeah.
maybe they came in there.
My impression was they'd already done that since the summer, so.
Oh, okay, so that
It
would be
might have
it.
been, I don't know
Yeah.
anything going on down there
Okay.
in the town.
Someone's down there with their tire tracks.
It's not me.
Four-wheeling.
Yeah.
And did they ever return? No,
Oh,
they
yeah.
never
I
returned.
know. Yeah.
Good. So we do have, let's see. We'll send around the agenda. The next meeting is Tuesday, March 26th, 7 p.m. Here, room 24 in Nova Town Hall. Public's invited. Thank you for coverage this evening. Without anything else, final words of wisdom?
We made it before 8.
There you go, perfect. That's a final word, and we're not gonna ruin that, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
So,
And then there you go, firsted and seconded. Thank you all for coming, appreciate it, thank you for your coverage, audience, and thanks for coming.